She's so great. She's always just right on top of things. So welcome to a very informal chat slash info session. I did this last year and it was really, I think it was really helpful, but I've been releasing a record a year for the past couple years, sort of by accident. I'll share my story, but every year I learn something new. And I think it's always really great to kind of know what's out there, what are other indie artists doing, what are some real goals that I could have, and sort of share some different ideas to maybe inspire you for the next time you're going around what I call the musician success cycle, which is kind of something that if you're an amplify, you know what I'm talking about, but it's 5 phases where you're learning and determining what do you want for this time around. Then you're creating the thing, then you're doing some admin work and getting all the systems in place, and then you go out and promote, which is phase 4, promoting and promo, and then phase 5 is monetizing and doing the work and fulfilling on anything, and then you keep going around this success cycle and learn stuff, new things, and you keep growing on what you've learned in the past. So as I go around, my next version of the musician success cycle, I've been taking some notes on some things to share with you. And so I am here to kind of answer questions, but also lay out what I've learned and a couple of things that I want to talk about in particular. So just show of hands in the camera if you're on camera. Who here is releasing music this year or recently releasing music or planning on releasing music? Okay, so many of you. Amazing. Well, great. Me too. um, so I am, let's see, I'm coming out with my 7th album in 2 weeks, and it is my 3rd in the new age genre. The first 4 were sort of piano chick pop stuff, and I toured a lot around those records. And the strategy for me releasing that music was very different. My fan base was very different. They were mostly people that came to live music. Now that they're actually still all on my email list, and now I've shifted into new age. What I'm going to share you is pretty much not genre specific, but there are some nuances that you will have to discover for yourself inside of your own genre. New age is kind of considered a smaller genre. It's definitely, there is a Billboard chart for new age music, just albums. When you get into bigger genres, there are singles charts and sales charts and radio charts. There's like a lot of different charts for, different bigger, quote, bigger genres. But I'll get into that a little bit. But most of what I'm sharing, even though I am a new age artist currently in my album, is it's ambient actually, which is I think sort of a subset of new age or electronica. Everything I'm sharing can be applied to you. Cool. Cool. And pop questions into the chat box if you have them as you're going. I may get to them later. I may ask you to ask the question again if I miss it, if there's a lot of stuff going on there. But let me just lay out sort of what I'm going through. Then I would definitely want to talk about Spotify playlists. I just got added to 2 editorial playlists, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to read you my pitches. So for anyone that has gone through the process of submitting to Spotify, I'm going to walk you through. It's super easy, but there is something that they're looking for inside of the pitch. And when I finally did that, I actually just got like literally first single off of this record to Spotify editorial playlist. So I was like, oh, hello, this is good information. I'm going to just share a little bit about charting, whether you know about it or not, and what that means. It can mean a lot of different things. And then I'm going to share quickly about the Grammy process. I literally just got back from Las Vegas 3 days later than I wanted to because Spirit Airlines kept me grounded there because they canceled my flight for no reason. Yay, Spirit Airlines. So there's a little bit of that. And then also just I'm going to plant a seed around the phrase that we're hearing a lot of, NFTs, and how I'm exploring that world and what I think it could be for indie artists if my predictions are correct. So, and I'm happy to talk about anything in between all of that, including fan engagement. How are my fans coming along for all this ride, right? Like, how do they have anything to do with charting or the Grammys or NFTs or whatever? So fans are important. They are, I would say they are more important than your followers on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, only because they are going to be, they're more likely to purchase from you inside of an email list than on social media. Social media is a great place to align with what's going on for your fans inside of your email list. Social media is a great place to find those fans and to bring them into the platform where they're going to be able to engage with you at a higher rate and a more meaningful rate for you. So I just wanted to, I never will poo-poo on social media. It's definitely part of the strategy in the game. And I will always encourage anyone that you think is engaging with you or you think is a fan, if they are not on your email list, get them there. That is where they are going to be able to engage with you in a way that's lasting, that you can count, meaning that the data that you collect from their engagement is actually measurable inside of email. And when Facebook and Instagram go down for 48 hours and it happens to be a release day, which literally happened, remember, like a couple months ago, you can still communicate with your fans and tell them about a release, sell to them, etc. So you know me, or if you don't know me, I'm like email dork and have had a lot of success in engaging with a fairly small fan base relatively inside of my email platform. So that's really important. And I'll talk about how I've shifted my email this year than last year. So any of you that are on my fan list, you'll see that I've been a lot less touch points this year for a variety of reasons. So I'm going to give you just like sort of my quick story so you can get a little context of what's happening this year. So last year I did my second New Age album because the first year I did a New Age album, it was #1 on Amazon and I didn't really try. I was kind of like, oh, am I a New Age artist now? I've always wanted to be on a chart and like have these cool numbers and things. And the first album that I did in a completely different genre than my normal pop stuff actually got some traction. So to follow up on that, and I also submitted it to the Grammys for the first time. Seriously, I had other albums that I had submitted for the first round of ballots. And I found out from an inside scoop that I got very close to being nominated in the New Age category. So I was like, I should probably ride this wave a little bit. So I did a second album in the pandemic, New Age album, released last year. Same results, close to the nomination according to Insider Scoops, #1 on iTunes, Amazon, blah, blah, blah. I did the whole chart thing. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Collaborated a little bit more, super fun. And that was that. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I learned a lot. Let's like do some other projects. Maybe I'll do another New Age album like in a year or two. But then in December, when I was looking for flights to go to the Grammys in January, they were so expensive. I was like, I should just take a train across the country, which I know better than to do that because I've done that before and I end up marrying a mountain guide or I end up touring on a train across Switzerland with my band. Like I literally was like, wouldn't it be so fun to tour somewhere random like Switzerland? And 6 months later I got invited to open for another band in Switzerland. So like I know that I have like a little magic in my mouth. So I have to be careful when I say things like that. So when I was like, I should just take a train to Los Angeles, I went down a rabbit hole on overnight train trips, which sounded super interesting. It's actually 5 days to get to Los Angeles if you go the route that I went. And I love this idea. I booked the ticket and I booked the ticket out to Los Angeles and then I booked a flight home. And I had the idea the next day, what if I tried to make an album on the train? And I do well with parameters and deadlines. So I was like, all right, we're going to do this. So that was in the middle of December. I was planning on leaving January 22nd. That was when the train ticket started. January 10th, it was around the time that they canceled the Grammys, or they moved them to like 3 months later. And the same week, I found out that my best friend, who had been struggling with cancer, passed away. And he and I wrote a musical together. I had done a ton of different musical. He was a collaborator and just a bright light, the brightest light in my life. I have thanked him literally every album I've done. Like, Kevin, you're the brightest light I've ever known. And so I was in the States, and I was like, do I even go out there? Like, what's the point of going out there? But I kept the ticket. And so I left 2 weeks later and I wrote 12 tracks on the way out. It was all electronic music, right? Because you can't really record vocals when it's like, vroom, vroom, honk, honk. Like it's so much noise, right? I brought a microphone. I was like, maybe I'll record some sounds and it will inspire me. No, it's all just noise. Like no one wants to hear that. So I didn't record anything. It was all electronic. And I had 12 tracks. I killed a couple of them. And when I got to LA, I stayed with my sister who lives there for a couple of days and I canceled my flight and I took the train home because I loved it so much. It was just a really beautiful healing process for me. So all of January, I didn't do much prep for that, but I created this album and I was really committed to the whole album being created on the train. So when I got to my sister's, I didn't listen to anything. I didn't work on it. Like 100% of the album was recorded, produced, and engineered on the train. I mixed it at home, and then I sent it to mastering when I got home. And then the first single came out. I sent it to mastering a month later, so February 22nd, which is the day before my birthday. And then March 22nd was when the first single came out. So if you are like, I need 3 years to release a single, I will tell you that that is not true. It is possible to do this on a timeline that is, this was a very, like from idea, so the album comes out April 22nd. So the idea came around that time in December. So the whole process was about 4 months. Idea, get on the train, make it, mix it, master it, get it ready. And I'm having 5 singles come out before the album's released for the sole purpose that the ambient playlists on Spotify are ginormous, like millions of followers. And I knew that you only get one track, one shot for an album to submit to Spotify playlists. I wanted more chances than that. So I released the singles. I haven't been making a big to-do about the singles. I'll do a post like, hey, another single's out. I'm not doing a pre-save for every single. I'm not making it complicated. I just wanted to release the singles for that sole purpose of like, let's just get on Spotify's radar. Cool. So my release plan was to release 5 singles, basically one a week. There was like 2 weeks in between the first couple, but one every week or every 2 weeks up into the album. And then I have 4 ambient mixes of 4 tracks that are going to be released later in the year. Meaning I had a couple soloists provide some tracks, and I have some featured artists on the album. So they are all, well, after this past Grammys, they're now officially all Grammy winners. A couple of them won Grammys: a vocalist, a violinist, a flute player, and the Dallas String Quartet, who has not won a Grammy, but they will. And they're all featured, and so I did mixes without their featured performance so that I have a real ambient track to release later. So that is the plan for this album. So let's just start talking about my plan with the fans. My fan plan. That's cute. I should like make a thing with that, right? The fan plan. Has anyone come up with that? That's like very obvious to me, and I love alliteration. So my fan plan. So, you know, I'm doing this record, but I'm also like very sad, right? Like my best friend died. So February, like I come back and I'm like very sad. And I'm like not feeling like I want to write to my fans. And it has nothing to do with them. I love my fans. But I did say I'm doing this thing. And I did create a 1 page on my website, essentially a landing page about the project that had while I was on the train, it had like a little map where you could track my train. It was very cute. And then I made 1 Instagram reel a day, like highlights from the day. And those live on that page, so you can sort of see a little bit of the project and what it's about. It's a very simple page, and as I have singles released, I'm putting them on the page as well. So I said, hey, there's this page here, like go here if you want updates, and I'll be posting on Instagram. I also shared with them as soon as the album became available for pre-sale, for pre-order, yeah, same thing, on Amazon. I shared that link with them. And within 18 hours, and this was a first for me of all the albums that have been on charts, within 18 hours, it was #1 of the bestsellers in New Age on Amazon. So I wrote them and said, this is ridiculous. Thank you. So far, that has pretty much been my engagement with my fans. And I did let them know that I had this personal tragedy that I was sort of dealing with and had me be a little more introverted. I was really, really open about that. A lot of them have known who Kevin was because 2 years ago when we put up our musical, I was sharing with my fans like, hey, this whole year I've spent writing a Broadway musical. So there was a little bit of context and understanding. I'm never afraid to tell my fans what's going on as long as I'm not burdening them. Like, yes, it's sad, but they didn't feel like they had to do anything for me. I said, I am doing this. I'm being less communicative because this is what's going on for me. And I really presented it as data versus like a woe is me story where they are going to feel like you can tell the difference, right? When I'm like sharing something sad versus sharing something like, you can kind of get when someone's like dumping on you and you're like, oh God, stop, versus like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, that's a bummer, right? So I was really mindful of that to not put that on them. And I actually thought if I communicated more, it might seep out, and I didn't want to do that for them. So my plan, now that I have just under 2 weeks leading up to the album, is next week I should have a making of video. I got some gorgeous footage of Amtrak trains, and obviously when I was on the train, I recorded a ton of footage of me composing, of the scenery, of the elk running across the Colorado River that was frozen, like all this beautiful stuff. I was on the bottom floor every time we stopped for like a 15-minute, like slightly longer stops at a station. I would go out and I would wash my window so that I could have no streaks on my videos. And so many people laughed at me and like, come do mine. And are you getting paid for that? And I was like, listen, you can laugh all you want, but my videos are going to be streak free. And I'm going to make the best making of video. And your videos are going to look like crap. So I'm going to be making that video this week, and next week I'm just going to be sharing that video everywhere, and the call to action will be pre-order it, because I am playing a chart game again to try to get on the Billboard charts, which for New Age is pretty impossible, but I'm still going to give it a whirl. So I'm going to be sending out an email with that video and doing a lot of posting with the video next week, and then I'm going to be following my own fan challenge formula, which is something that I have created for you. It's a template that I sell, and it's literally 7 days starting on the day of release. Like each day there's a call to action for them. It's like order it now on iTunes, order it now on Amazon, order it now on Bandcamp. Those are the 3 sites that count towards charting, unless you work through a site to get it sales from your webpage to count, which is possible, but I don't do that. I actually, the reason I don't do that, by the way, I do get this question. The reason I do focus on iTunes and Amazon is because when you are charting, like for iTunes, for example, when you get a lot of pre-orders on iTunes, you show up on the homepage of iTunes under pre-orders. You see the first 5. So someone that doesn't know me might actually find me because I'm higher up on those charts. So the more sales I get on those sites, the more likely I might get new eyes. Selling through your own site, you might make a little bit more money, which is great. So it totally depends on your goal. You really need to be clear on what is your goal for your next release. It might be financial. And if that's the case, then you're going to want to price it a certain way. You're going to want to host it on your website where you can collect more of the percentage of money. But if it's charting, or if it's, and people say, why is charting a goal for you? For me, it's because I can then get into the industry papers where the Recording Academy members are, because the ultimate goal for my records is a Grammy nomination. And anyone that's known me for 17 years, that's always been kind of just a milestone. It's a little bit of a compass. Like for me as a creator, am I creating something that fits in those parameters, is of the quality? It's not the end game for me. It just happens to be a milestone that really fits for what I do. So for me, that's where my charting goal comes from. For you, it might be like you need some more talking points, and that would be something your fans would be super psyched to get behind. It might be a streaming goal, or radio goal, or press goal. Like I said, financial goal. So if you're clear on your goal, you can cater some decisions, pretty much every decision. For example, on Bandcamp, because this particular album doesn't have a financial goal, I priced it as low as possible to still count towards charts. It's $4.44. And so I make it really affordable, so someone feels like, yeah, I really want to help her get to the charts. I'm going to buy it here, and I'm going to buy it on Amazon. You can't get too many duplicate sales, because eventually, like, you can't have someone buy it like 20 times on Amazon with different accounts, because the IPs will match up, and then they'll tell Billboard it's actually only 1 sale instead of 20. But Bandcamp and Amazon and iTunes, they don't talk to each other. They don't share data. And I actually had an interview with someone at Billboard, which is why I'm sharing this information. So he's like, you can actually get away with having your fans buy on all 3 platforms, because the platforms can't share data. So there's no way to know who bought on all 3. So I made that decision. I priced it low enough so someone could feel like, yeah, I want to help this out. I'm going to go get it on Amazon. As an indie artist, and I distribute through CD Baby, I was not able to shift the pricing for Amazon or iTunes. They go by a track. So it's the number of tracks that are in the album, and then they calculate the price that way. Bandcamp, you obviously get a lot of freedom. You can upload, and I actually uploaded those 4 ambient tracks that are coming later. You get those with the album as like bonus tracks, I think they call them in Bandcamp. So that's kind of a fun thing. And Bandcamp definitely has a lot of. Ooh.
Hey, Pop,
someone's excited.
How's it going? I'm a little busy, sir.
Stuart, it's okay. We've only been on Zoom for like 3 years. We're still figuring it out. It's all good. So Bandcamp is a fun site, and also if you're doing physical merch, there are options for that as well, where you get a lot more of the percentage. You have to be doing physical merch where you mail it yourself, which to me is like a nightmare. So I don't know too much about that. I'm a print on demand gal. Cool. Okay, so my fan plan, 7-day Amplifan plan. Ooh, Scott, I love that. Day it's released, I say it's released, right? Boom. And here's where you can get it. Because there's a lot of energy and excitement around the day of release, I do my sales first. So that is, I talk about buying it on Amazon where it's more expensive. I talk about buying it on iTunes. iTunes makes it really hard, by the way, for pre-sales. You can't just get a link and send people the link. If I were to send you a link to my iTunes, like where I pre-ordered it, they give me an option, but when you click on that link, it takes you to Apple Music, and then they ask you to subscribe to Apple Music. They're trying very hard to go to the subscription model from the sales model, so it's such a bummer. So I have to tell people, like, listen, like, pre-ordering on iTunes would actually count the most. Like that would make the biggest difference for me, but you have to go search my name. You have to go search Cheryl and the passenger in order to find it. Like, it's kind of a pain. But once that comes out, the sales comes out, then that's going to be really easy to share the link for that. So Apple is a little funky. Amazon, let's talk about Amazon for a hot second. Amazon, I'm going to have a whole day. Amazon is really starting to favor, and this is from I took notes from my insider guy at Amazon, starting to favor their voice activation devices. So you're going to want to tell your fans, hey, Alexa, I don't want to say it in case you all have it and then I activate yours. Follow Cheryl B. Engelhardt. Follow whatever your name is. Here's the cool thing that they've done. Even if that person is not subscribed to Amazon Music, the Amazon Alexi will follow you wherever they're subscribed to. So if they're Spotify people and they have a subscription to Spotify, they'll go follow you. You'll automatically get a follower on Spotify. Or maybe they follow you on maybe they're Pandora people. They'll go follow you on Pandora. So that's something you want to encourage. You can do an experiment. Say like, hey, what happens when you say, hey, Alexi, play your band name, and what song comes up? You can sort of like get people to like train your fans to start using their tools that they have in their homes, and then Amazon rewards that, and you start to go up on their little like charts. They have like voice charts, they have like all sorts of stuff, and it gets into the in front of the people that are the playlisters over on Amazon. And they're trying to do more streaming with their Amazon Music. They're trying to do more with their own playlists similar to Spotify. So, but it's all starting with the voice activation. So there's going to be a day in my 7-day of the week of the release where it's all going to be about just saying, go follow, go find this music, right? So Amazon is kind of fun and changing up a little bit. Then, of course, there's Bandcamp. And then the streaming world, right? Having people add your song to their playlists. Yes, of course, you want them to stream it. You want them to fall asleep with it streaming on repeat, all of those things, wherever they stream, whatever platform they use. But the best thing that they can do is to create playlists and share those playlists with their followers, right? So you want to, you have your fan base, and maybe that's 50 people, maybe it's 5,000. But if you can get those 50 people to share with 10 people, like, that's the name of the game. You get those 5,000 people to share with 10 people. Like, this is where you start to see the results. And you want to be doing, even if you're not playing a charting game, which, by the way, the highest chances of hitting the charts are in the first week of the release, because all of your pre-orders count for that first week. So inside of the first week, there also is just a lot of energy around your new release. So it's a really good time to make your biggest asks. And then over time, you can sort of focus. Maybe this week is going to be Amazon week, and you're going to talk about Amazon and get on the chart or whatever it is. And you can spread out the asks as you go on. Maybe there's merch. I think selling merch is a really, really great post-release thing to do. We were talking today in Amplify, because it's Money Month, we were talking about different ways to utilize past records. Like, I have a record that came out 2 years ago. What do I do now? I don't have a new record coming up for a while. Like, when's the anniversary of the record? Release a new couple of things in your store, or launch a merch store, and make it a whole big like happy anniversary, and like pull images from the album cover, and they're like insta new life in years on that album, right? But merch is to me, a post thing. If you have a really strong merch presence and your fans know and love your merch, then yes, you want to incorporate that into your album release or your single release or whatever. It's not part of my plan. It's definitely a later plan. I do have merch that I've designed for this. It's just sort of sitting in my store. If someone happens to find it, it's not going to be one of my calls to action, because I don't want to have too many, right? You don't want to have all over the place. Like, all of my calls to action, meaning go buy it on Bandcamp, go buy it on, the iTunes and Amazon. Those are all inside of one goal, right? Buying merch has nothing to do with me charting. It actually has nothing to do with the Grammys either, right? But it is something that I want fans to know. They may want that. So it's something that I will offer later, but it's definitely something I save for when I'm kind of like twiddling my thumbs. I'm like, what do I talk about now? What do I offer now? It doesn't matter if they buy it. So yes. Oh, Sarah. Sarah was in Amplify today where I did some math where it was like 50 times 10. And I was like, yeah, we were just like, that's $1,000,000. And it was totally wrong math. So yes, Cheryl math. It's good math, I'm telling you, though. It's the math that you want on your side. Okay. Any questions about like sort of fans and pre-orders? I can like pause before I get in. I'm going to get into Spotify editorial playlists next, but definitely type in questions in the chat box if you have any. I can always come back to them. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do a 7-day plan. I haven't figured out which each call to action is, or I would totally talk you through all of them. I'm happy to do another one of these calls later. By the way, I'm doing these just because I want to, but I am going to put my Bandcamp to my album in the chat box, and I would love for you to buy it. So that's going to be my version of tipping. By the way, in Amplify, like Amplify, for those of you who don't know, is my mastermind. It's a monthly. We have like 3 calls a month, and there's like, I've been running it for 5 years. It's a beautiful community of like accountability and new ideas and all this stuff. Anyway, and you get coaching one-on-one with me, blah, blah, blah. But we really try to practice what we preach, and sort of how you do one thing is how you do everything is kind of the idea. And if you think about like, if we go live streaming, for those of you who are live stream performers, who's a live streamer in these pandemic-y days? Yeah, cool. I see your hands. So when we're live streaming, and let's say our call to action in that live stream is, would you contribute a tip to the show because the show is free? And then we go around and we're like nickel and diming everything in our life. Like, are we going to see a lot of tips in our life? Probably not. There's a flow, y'all, and we got to be part of it. So I'm giving you an opportunity to flow. This is $4.44 flow. So there's my Bandcamp link. And I look at that as a tip and appreciate you. Carrie says, have others help with the merch store? Have others help with the merch store? That's not a question. Can you rephrase it so I know how to answer that? Because I don't know how to answer that. Or maybe that's an idea. Have others help with your merch store? Yes, I like that. Let's see. Question about Amazon Music. I've been trying to claim your name. Amazon keeps saying it already been claimed by someone. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so what we're talking about here is if you go to, and this is the same for Apple as well. There's artists.apple.com, artists.spotify.com, artists.amazon.com, where you go and you sign up as an artist and you claim your artist account. Essentially what that is when you distribute your record, whether it's through CD Baby or TuneCore or DistroKid, I'm a CD Baby person, your music gets distributed, if you check all the boxes, to all of the platforms, all of those platforms, right? So that means that Amazon knows that there's an artist named your name on their platform. So basically when you go into the artist.amazon.com account, you're signing up and you're saying, hey, hi, how's it going? That's me. And now I want to control that. I want to change my profile picture. I want to change what the header looks like. So you can go do that, and you can change that up, all those images for every new album release or single release, so that everything's on brand. But you do need to claim yourself as an artist. And it's a very easy process. It takes you through how to verify that you are indeed that artist. So that's what we're talking about there. I don't know who you would, I think you, well, here's what I would do. I would go to Instagram and Twitter, and I would just message them through social media. I've gotten so, like, especially on Twitter, big companies are terrified of bad press. So when you tweet at them like, hey, like, someone has my name, what gives? They're going to get in touch with you and be like, how can we help? Here's the contact number. I've gotten more upgrades on flights that way. So definitely, except not on Spirit. Kept me in Vegas for 3 days. Okay, so that's what I would do, Alika, is I would get on their social medias, because I know Amazon for Artists has a social media account. And by the way, tag them. They're kind of new. So when you have music on Amazon and you're sharing an Amazon link, tag them. They're I'm not going to say they're likely to retweet, but they definitely, like, you have a higher chance because they're not ginormous yet. Nikki, you're the best. I love you. What sort of camera was I taking? Oh, I'll show you all. So here's what I did this is a great question, actually. This is so important, and this will save you so much, like, regret later when you're in the studio, even when you're just writing. I took a video like this, And then I stopped it, and I'm taking like, little snippets, like 7-second videos, 10-second videos. Like, who wants to see elk running on the river for more than 10 seconds? Like, it made me cry, but still, like, you're not going to want to see that. I took a video like this, I stopped it, and immediately turned and took a video like this. If you're just listening, I did a vertical video and then I did a horizontal video. And here's why. Vertical videos are going to look so great when I make my reels, right? Which is on Instagram. All this stuff is vertical and stories. And the horizontal, and I also clicked the cinematic option. I honestly couldn't tell the difference between cinematic and not, but maybe like some filmy people could tell. But when I make my making a video, which will be, for YouTube, I have the vertical, and I don't need to do weird like framing or pixelating of anything. So like same content, and then I put it all in a Google Drive and separated it out, like verticals of landscape, verticals of me on the train, horizontals landscape, horizontals me on the train. And it stays super organized. So now I know that when I sit down this week, I don't need to go through all my footage and be like, oh, what was that? Like, that process was done real time. Cool. So helpful. And even if you're not thinking about creating content, you're not thinking about promotion or anything, just dump it. Like, just film it, turn the camera on while you're in the studio. Like, yes, you want to focus on those great vocals and the shaker and making sure you have more cowbell and all the stuff that you need. But turn the camera on. You will be so psyched later when you're like, what should I send to my fans now? Oh, wait, I have this folder of stuff from the studio that I didn't do anything with. And as I add content into my making of video, I'm going to mark what stuff doesn't get added in. So then I know I have fresh content later. So yeah, saving yourself some time. Love that. So Karen answered your question. My phone. And I had no one on the train with me. I did ask one of the attendants if he would take a picture of me in my room. But that was it. And he also turned down my bed. It's like he turns the little chairs, or like Harry Potter style, like two chairs facing each other, and then they turn it into a bed at night, and there's like a bunk bed that comes down, which I didn't sleep on. So that was the help I got. So yes, no help. Let's see. Another question's from Stephanie. You're on CD Baby and asked them to help you with Spotify. There's another chick named Stephanie Phillips. Ooh, I can see that being a common name who turns up on your Spotify page. I have heard this problem from like people with a lot of like big fan bases, and I do not know how they handle that. I would reach out to the Spotify for Artists accounts. Yeah, that's what I would do. Hit the social media, y'all. Make some noise for sure. Yes, I'm not using Spirit ever again. Thank you for everyone that's pre-ordering. I love you. Yep, iPhone. YouTube Shorts are now vertical. Yeah, they now have the vertical option too. I also just like horizontal, like when you post it on Facebook or when you post on your website. So I do like the horizontal look from a cinematic standpoint. Y'all, this is like my third coaching call thing of the day, so we're gonna have some fun words coming up. Yeah, I definitely would contact the Spotify artist people. Okay, great. Good questions, everyone. This is a good transition into Spotify. So I want to share with you my pitch. So what am I talking about when I say my pitch? For every single that comes out, and for every album, obviously for single, you get one shot, 7 days before it comes out, to pitch to the editorial playlisters on Spotify. These generally tend to be bigger playlists, although for my genre, New Age, there is a Women in New Age playlist and an ambient Women in Ambient playlist that they're now calling like equity ambient. And I'm like, okay. And they have around 10,000 or 20,000 followers. So those are not huge playlists, but they are Spotify editorial playlists, and they tend to grow. There are other playlists that have millions of followers, and you get on one of those and you've heard like the made it stories just from being on one of those. Being on the editorial playlist is great though, because now one of the things that they're doing with some of their editorial playlists is you can share the playlist, and when you share it, it's like a custom order where your track is first, which is very fun for fans to see your track first, because I don't think fans know that that's a thing. So it's like, oh my God, you're on this editorial playlist and your track is first. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. So when you go into your artist.spotify.com, it will actually say, would you like to pitch a song to us? If it's before 7 days of the release. So if you're releasing on the 10th of the month, the Friday before, if you're releasing on a Friday, the Friday before will be the last day that you can pitch to them. So you can pitch as early as you want. So if you get your singles uploaded and everything distributed and you have all your links and everything like that, the next song that's released, you can pitch. And you can't pitch again until that next song has released. You know what I mean? So the song on the 10th has to come out before you can pitch for the song that's coming out on the 20th, for example. So you go through a very easy question and answer sort of thing, and it will ask you what the genre is, where you're located, what instruments, is it a remix, is it vocals, all of these things, right? So you answer all those questions according to your music, and then you have a tiny little area where you can put in, I think it's 200 characters, and they ask you specifically, what are you going to do? Like, why should we pick this, and what are you going to do to promote this track? And so many people don't answer the question. So I'm going to encourage you to answer the question that they are asking. I mean, it's Spotify editorial. Like, yeah, if I get on your playlist, I'm not going to have to promote my track. That's not the answer they want to hear, though. So I'm going to share exactly what I wrote because I copy and paste. So you all, just so you know, like I have an Airtable that has every single song, the duration of the song, the ISRC code for the song, the blurb that I use for my Spotify pitches, an additional blurb that I can use for other things, and I'll talk about what those other things are, the UPC code, the NFT link if I'm making an NFT, all the different links, the genres, all the key, the song. It's like my master song document. Who co-wrote with me, their publisher name. It's got like 100 columns going this way, and it's a pain in the ass to set up, but it's really, 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 really important to have all this stuff in one place because I can't tell you how many times I've been like, oh, I need to list the ISRC code. I have it right in this Airtable document. So this is where I'm reading from. So this is the song that got placed on the biggest Spotify editorial playlist that I've been placed on so far. I got an email 2 days after the single came out as the first single from this album, end of March, that was like, you're now on a Spotify playlist, which is very nice that they email me because it's not like I'm looking for it, right? So they email you, and then they also show, when you log back into the Spotify for Artists, they'll show you that you're actually on a Spotify editorial playlist. So first thing that I did, I was like, what playlist do I want to be on? Because I'm going to help them. I'm going to help them do their work, especially if you're in a genre where there's like 100 different playlists for that genre, like workout or morning, if you're like a rock artist, like you could be on like a total, any number, dozens of different playlists, right? So I'm going to help narrow it down for them, but also give them ideas, right? So I did my homework, and you're going to hear that I did my homework, and I'm also going to pull on the heartstrings a little bit and use the hook of my story, right? And you're going to hear me pull the woman card. By the way, ambient music is a lot of dudes, so I'm able to pull the woman card and have it feel like authentic. Like, so all of this is true, right? So I'm just going to read it to you. So this song, they have the title. It's a long title, so I was like, I'm not going to waste characters with the title. This song, a perfect fit for the Spotify ambient relaxation and floating through space playlists, was created from start to finish on a cross-country train trip. It was from New York to Los Angeles in January following the cancellation of the Grammys, little name dropping, and the loss of my best friend to cancer. I'll be promoting this, answering the question directly. I'll be promoting this to my fans who have already gotten my past, I'll be promoting this to my fans who have gotten my past 2 New Age records to #1 on the sales charts. This one will be no different. And of course, I'll be pitching this to playlists to increase the number of women in the ambient space. So that is what I wrote. I think I had 1 character left, so that was on the long side, right? But I got it all in there, right? I answered their question. I'm going to be promoting this. My fans get me on charts, right? Like, I didn't need to say that it was #1 in New Age, which is a smaller chart, but that got me, that was the pitch. That was the pitch that worked. So I did the homework. By the way, I did not actually get on the Spotify ambient relaxation or the floating through space playlist. So they did pick a different playlist, but that's okay. It shows them that I actually give a damn, that I'm not copying, pasting, because you can do this with Amazon. It's a little bit different. I'll talk about that in a second. But answer that question. What are you going to do with this song? Like, they don't want to put a song, if people are just pumping out music and are not engaged with a fan base, like, they don't want to look stupid that they're like promoting a bot, right? A robot creating music. Like, they want to know that there's a human behind there. And there are people reading these, right? So they get a ton of them. So that's why you got to, like, what are the keywords that they're going to extrapolate? And maybe Grammys was one of them. Maybe I all caps the word women, increase the number of women in the ambient space. I don't know if that helped, but so take that as you will. That's what my pitch was, but please answer their question. They ask a very specific question. Like, what are you going to do to promote this? Like, I think that the thought is like, why would Spotify care? But apparently they do. Yeah. Okay, so that was the Spotify playlist pitch. I took that same pitch and I tweaked it, obviously, for Amazon. So Amazon allows you to pitch anytime leading up to your single, up to 14 days after, which is kind of cool. So you don't need to stress so much. They do say that they put things on playlists as early as they get them. So it's like the way they work is a little more of like a rolling enrollment kind of thing. So the earlier you pitch them, the better. As it gets closer to the release date of the album or the single, they'll still be considering if they haven't already decided that it's going to go on a playlist. So as soon as you have that track and that you see that it made its way from CD Baby to Amazon as a pre-order or pre-save, you want to pitch to them. But you can also pitch up to 14 days after that track is released. And it's a similar process, picking the genres, picking the blah, 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 and you got a little spot to pitch them as well. They don't ask us, I don't think they ask a specific question about promotion, but you can cater that pitch. I do go look up some playlists on Amazon Music, what are they called, and give them some suggestions, because I feel like that, why not, right? Regarding pitching to Apple playlists, that is still an anomaly to me. So if anyone knows anything about that, I'm all ears, but I don't know about that. I do know that you can reach out and find contacts on LinkedIn and whatnot for people that control different genre playlists on Pandora, and you can reach out to them and pitch to them the same way you would a curator on Spotify. Okay, so let's see. I see that there's a couple questions that came in, so let me answer those. There's an article there. 200, Josh, characters, not 2,000. That would be a very, very much longer essay. NFTs, I will explain a little bit of that in a second. What did I say I would do once I got on the list? What do you mean that I got on the list? I was answering the question, what are you going to do to promote this? And I said to pitch to playlists in order to increase the number of women in the ambient space, which is a little indirect way of being like, you should place this on your ambient playlists because of the lack of women in this space, right? So that's all that I meant by that. Mm-hmm. Regarding playlists, another thing that I do, I love Submit Hub. It's sort of hard to say, so inthekey.co/submit hub. I know there are places like Playlist Push and other places that you can pay, and they say that they're a legitimate way to get listeners, followers, streams, etc. I don't trust many of them, and I love the Indie Bible, inthekey.co/Spotify Bible, which is like literally every contact for every curator, non-Spotify editorial lists. So this is people that are like you and me that have made playlists that are super popular. But Submit Hub is really cool because you can put in your bank like $50, and then you can submit by searching very specifically your genre, submit to playlisters by and you get credits, right? So if you submit, like, upload $50 or put that into your bank, and then you can submit to these playlisters for $1, $2, $3. They call them credits, right? Way better than paying like $500 or $1,000 to these push places. And a lot of them, when you ask for feedback, they will listen to your music and they'll give you good feedback, and you might learn more about your playlist genre, right? And like, I learned for my first album, all my songs were 6 minutes on that first New Age record that I did. And I learned that the New Age playlists that I was pitching to, like, so many of them were like, we don't accept songs that are longer than 4 minutes. I was like, oh, good to know for my next album, like, that I want some songs that I can actually pitch to these people. and that's just like they're just like, we can't even like listen to this, and so they will return credits if you're not the right fit. Like there's cool stuff there. They have also Submit Hub has also expanded where you can pitch to influencers. You can get people to make TikTok videos with your music, which can be a great source of income down the line, especially if you get on a video that goes viral. I've been seeing an increase in my streaming income since I have made some partnerships, and you can kind of work out deals with people. I like Submit Hub a lot, and I'm in my third year of using it. And the cool thing is, I now have relationships with playlisters that I can just message and say, "Hey, I have a new track. Would you be up for putting it on there?" And they don't even charge me a credit anymore because they don't care about a dollar. They just want to know that they're getting stuff that their listeners like, and that it's coming from a good source. And that here's the thing that I always put in my pitch to them, because you get about another couple sentences. I am really looking forward to sharing your playlist with my fan base of however many, or my followers on Facebook. I have this many, like whatever is the most impressive number. They want their playlists to get more follows too, right? Then they become more popular. More people want to submit to them. They make more money. It's like a win-win for everyone, for you to say, I'm really looking forward to promoting your playlist when my track gets on it. Like win, 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 right? That's always the game. We're partnering with these people, right? So you can, oh, absolutely. So, Judy, you can submit previously released singles to Submit Hub. I actually find it easier to submit to Submit Hub when you already have a single out. You can do it ahead of time because you can upload the MP3 or share a private SoundCloud link if this album or the song is not released yet. But a lot of those people are working, and this is something that I've learned over the years of working with them. A lot of the playlist curators, at least in my genre, are like, "Is it out? I'll post it tomorrow." And I'm like, "Well, can you actually can you post it in like 4 weeks? Can you like put it on your calendar? Like, are you like really good with? I can give you some lessons on calendar planning. Can you plan for this?" So I like, so when the song's already out, I have a little bit easier time getting it on there. So that's another reason why I personally wanted to have a bunch of singles out, so I could get them on these playlists and then have them. A lot of the Submit Hub users will have your song on for 2 weeks, 2 months. Some of them say that they last for 6 months, and they just grow the playlist. So I want my songs on as many playlists the day the record is released, because streaming and sales is what counts for the new age Billboard chart. Radio counts for some other genres. It actually does not count for new age. So I want as much streaming as possible, because new age happens to be a high stream. Like, think about Enya. Like, people are listening to new age music as they go to sleep on repeat. So it's millions and millions of streams, more so than other categories, versus sales. So it's really tough to break in if you're not on a ton of playlists already. So that's why new age's Billboard chart is a little bit of a shot in the dark. I see some questions, so let's get into this. Some questions. Am I familiar with Music X-Ray? I am not. Can you submit? I answered that. You can. They'll tell you they want. They do like recent music. I haven't had a problem with Submit Hub people saying that they want something new. I have submitted older music, but who knows? It might be playlister specific. They might say that in the description, like, only new music, please. So you just gotta kind of do your homework on that. I don't know about drop track or music submit. Is it normal to pay for playlists? I don't want to say normal. I mean, paying $1, yes, like through Submit Hub, to $3, because some of them are prioritized or have bigger audiences. Like, I think that that's completely reasonable, and I look at it as a marketing cost, the same way you would put money into advertising, right? I would be very careful to pay directly to playlists if you're not going through a vetted, known entity like Submit Hub. I mean, there you're actually going directly to the curators, versus going through a site that promises plays or placements, because there might be some bots, and Spotify's trying to crack down on these, streaming farms and places that are just, robot computers listening overnight and things like that. So I say it's not a terrible thing, but I think you just have to be very careful in who you're choosing to pay and how. So I say that with great care. Do I contact people on Spotify who make playlists to add your music? Yes, that's literally what Submit Hub does. It gives you access to search very easily inside of your genre, and to go listen to those playlists and be like, is this a fit or not? So yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. The MLC is great, but because I am on CD Baby, CD Baby collects all of my royalties from everywhere for me because I hate uploading tracks and filling in metadata. So that is worth 15% of the money to me. But yes, you should either be signed up for a service inside of your distributor, like CD Baby, so that someone is collecting your money for you. And this is different than ASCAP, BMI, or your PRO if you're not in America, the ASCAP, BMI, CSAC. So yeah, this is to collect mechanical licenses. Is it good for my new age genre? Again, that sort of stuff is not genre specific, but it's a good question. Yeah, you really don't have to think about that. Streaming farms. Justin Bieber had streaming farms. They're people that are hired out for very, very inexpensive, usually in Asian countries, that are just rooms of computers streaming the same song over and over and over again to increase plays. So yes, streaming farms. I've turned my fan base into a streaming farm for a hot second. It's kind of fun to try to get everyone to stream the same song at the same time to peak the algorithm. It's a thing, right? We have impact days in an impact playlist in Amplify where we listen to one person's song throughout the week on our impact, and it tells the Spotify algorithms, hey, something's up with this song. Editorial playlist people, you should probably check this out. That's how they manage their music. We had a great guest speaker in Amplify from Spotify telling us about how this works. There's so much music. I don't remember the statistic of like how many thousands of songs are uploaded a day. So the algorithms are what are getting flagged, right? Your song can get flagged when a lot of people start listening to it at once. They say, okay, is this bots or like did something happen? Was this on a TV show? And like now everyone's listening to it because like we got to get this on our cool playlist because we want to stay looking cool. So we want to peak the algorithm in ways that are legal and the ways our fans can help, etc. So I call that an impact day, and I have impact days with my fans. I'm like, okay, everyone, today we're listening to this one. Maybe it's a playlist that you make for them, so they don't have to listen to one song on repeat, but they can listen to a playlist that has other songs, but maybe there's 10 songs of yours and 10 songs of other artists, right? And say the name of the game is just to listen to this all day long. So yeah. Hope I answered that question. Yes, I use CD Baby Pro. Does anyone know how to add songs with two artists to an artist profile on Amazon? Each artist can claim. So, like, if you have a song and there's two artists on that song, when you distribute it and like upload it through CD Baby, you have an option to say it's artist 1, artist 2. I think you're allowed to put you plus 3 artists. You're also allowed to have featured artists, and either way, that should show up on both yours and the other person's Spotify for artists, Amazon for artists, all of the places, right? So how to add it to an artist profile on Amazon. So yeah, that should happen on your distributor's side and then sent to Amazon. So if it didn't happen the right way, then it should have, Patricia, I'm talking to your question here, then that would be something to take up with your distributor and that they can change on the back end. Cool. So, all right. What are benefits of CD Baby Pro versus just regular? CD Baby Pro collects your mechanical licenses, your mechanical royalties and things like that. So Patricia says the songs are showing up on Spotify, but on separate pages on Amazon. I don't know what you mean by on separate pages. If it is 2 different artists, then it should show up on yours and on theirs. I think I'm answering that question. Okay. So moving on, I'll keep answering these things as they pop up. So I read you my Spotify pitch. I told you about my fan engagement plan, charting a couple things that are new between last year and this year. So charting, just so you know, like it doesn't necessarily mean the Billboard chart. It can mean charts inside of your genre. There's like new age specific charts. So you might want to do a search. It's just a fun goal to have. It's a fun game to play with your fans, to engage with them. Sometimes charts are determined by a jury of people already in the field, so it has nothing to do with sales. Other times there are sales charts, right? Like Amazon and iTunes, those are sales charts. iTunes, when you have a pre-order, iTunes doesn't include your pre-orders while your album is not released yet in your genre, but it does have a master pre-order, all genres, top 100. And which is very cool because I got onto that. I was like number 80 that first day when I didn't even have I wasn't even telling people about it because it was so hard to find a link. But somehow people were just like, oh, it's available. So that might have been my Apple Music people that follow me, and maybe they got an alert. I don't know how Apple Music works. I'm not on the other user end of that. Amazon does count. So right now, if y'all bought on Amazon, in a couple hours, it sort of updates hourly and tracks for like the past 24 hours. You would see me show up when you go to bestsellers. If you're on a desktop, on the very left, it says bestsellers, and you can click like literally any category on Amazon, from furniture to digital music. You click on albums, and then you have 15 or 20 genres, main genres. New Age is one of them, and they have new releases, and they have best selling, like just all of the best selling. So I've been one on both of those, which is super fun. The new releases is all the pre-orders as far back as your pre-order was available till 3 months after the album is released. That's what new releases means on Amazon. I don't know how long. I don't think there's a new releases on iTunes. I think it's just that. Bandcamp also has charts. When you scroll down on the homepage of Bandcamp, it shows, first of all, what's being bought currently. So it's like a real-time ticker, which is kind of cool. It gives an opportunity for people that are just coming, that are music fans, to just sort of see, oh, what should I check out? What are people buying? So I love that feature, which is a fun reason to have people buying like throughout the week on Bandcamp, because you have more chance of showing up on their little like currently selling ticker. But then they also have their own subgenres. Cool. So those are sales charts. But again, inside of your genre, you might have your own genre specific charts. So there's something called the New Age Music Guide, and that's where I also submit my music to and try to get on the charts there. And they have their own ranking system and stuff like that. So it's just kind of a little bit of getting authority in the space. It's a fun game to play. Sometimes charts are vote-based, so it might be something that you want to encourage your fans to do. It's just a way to engage with them and have them be part of the process. Once I get into Grammy mode, my fans can't help me at all. You have to be a member of the Recording Academy in order to vote for my record. And very few of my fans are even in the music industry. So this is a way to say, hey, you can help me with this Grammy thing that y'all know is my big goal, by helping me get on the Billboard chart, where people in the industry are going to get to see this, right? And this is directly affected by your sales. Cool? So I connect the dots for them, right? They're coming along my journey. And so no matter what your goal is, it can be anything as long as you're super clear on it. So when you're clear on your goal, they're going to be clear too. They're going to know exactly what to do. People will like to be part of a winning team. So it's just like, hey, game on, here's what we're doing. And you just need to tell them how. Like, this is what this looks like. Like, I literally made like little videos of like, when you go to iTunes, then you go to here, and then you type in this, because iTunes make this really hard. So I'm going to like make it really easy for them to be like, yes, I can help this. I can help you. I can be part of this. Like, hey, this is my win too. And when you do get the thing, whatever you put out there, make it about them. Like, all of my language is, we made it this year. We didn't make it this year. Like, it's a we thing, right? So yeah, the last thing I wanted to touch on was NFTs. So NFTs, just so you know, and I'm not going to this is a rabbit hole of all rabbits. So it's something that I was like, this is a weird concept. Someone owning a digital file, but they don't actually own the rights. They don't own anything. They own the idea of it. One copy of it. Like, what's with all the monkeys? Like, it was just like, what is with NFTs, right? So I saw Tony Van Veen, who is the CEO of Disc Makers. Disc Makers, y'all know Disc Makers, right? They make your CDs. Posted a video, and he was like, I don't understand NFTs, but I'm going to do some research, and I'm going to find out, and I'm going to make some videos for you. So I reached out to him, and I was like, well, I have a record coming out soon, and I have a bunch of singles. Do you want to look into this together? And do you want to use my music as a guinea pig? So he was like, yes, let's make a series called Let's Make an NFT. And we've been real-time recording it. So you can go to the Disc Makers YouTube channel and see up to our 5 videos where I've screen shared the process. We've looked into all the different things. He really breaks down the terms. What does a non-fungible token mean? what is MetaMask, what is OpenSea, what is cryptocurrency, what is Ethereum, all of these things. And I'm so glad that I'm doing this because we're going to be sharing this like far and wide. And I will tell you that it is a very, very male heavy scene. And it's like one last thing we need is like to have women excluded from another techie thing. So for all my men here, like stand by. But I really think that there's an opportunity here. What I'm learning is that our fans probably don't know about NFTs. And what I'm curious about and the work I'm doing with Tony is to discover, is there a fan base of people that have cryptocurrency? Because here's the thing, maybe they invested a while ago and they like made a stupid amount of money on cryptocurrency and it's still in the form of cryptocurrency. So it's almost like free money to them and they just want to go put it in something cool. And so there are fans out there that are not our fans yet, but they want NFTs. And I'm wondering if that's an audience for indie musicians to tap into. And how do we tap into that? Discord is a thing. I'm going to make a whole list of all the sites that I've signed up for, if they cost anything. So far, I haven't spent a cent. So I'm going to be really, really like honing the conversation here. And I just wanted to let you know that it's a thing that Tony and I both think is a possible access to not just a financial stability for an indie musician, but a new audience. And it might be something to bring to our current audiences if they've been curious about cryptocurrency and all of this stuff, or maybe they're already in it. There might be someone that is in your audience that is already involved, which would be really cool. But I think there's going to be a learning on how do we teach our fans that this is a thing that they can be involved in and what it means. So I'm sort of in a standby for that, but it could be interesting. It could also be total waste of time, but I will let you know by wasting my time and Tony's. And those videos are, as we literally like record them, he sends them to the disc makers, like media people. They make me look pretty and then they like post it. So it's cool. So it's kind of a real time, like here's what we're learning as we go. So you could go find that on YouTube right now on Disc Makers channel. And I've been posting on Instagram as well in the Key of Success. Yeah, you can put NFTs in Twitter and like there's ways to like put it out there. Yeah, and crypto was totally creepy until you learn about it, right? That's kind of like the thing. Like things are scary, creepy, whatever, until you actually get information and like learn what it is. So yeah, and there are, yeah. So Michael, the one that I'm really working on, and this is something that we dug into, was the environmental impact. So there's one that's called Polygon, and that's really interesting, and how they have figured out how to not use resources and kill the earth in doing this. So yeah, there's a whole world of that, and it's super interesting to me. So going down there. So yeah, so that is sort of my strategy this year. I'm learning some new stuff. The charts are still the charts. The one thing that I will say about the Billboard chart that they changed last year is that you can't bundle things. You can't say, so I couldn't say to y'all, for $4.44, you get into this call. Like that would mean that this call was bundled with my album. I'm requesting that you go get my album on Bandcamp for $4.44, but this call was available to anyone on my email list, right? Had nothing to do with the actual like it's not a bundle, right? So you can't say buy my album and you'll get X, Y, and Z merch or tickets or anything, because that is viewed as a bundle, and bundles no longer count towards charts. I think there's, in the pop world, like Taylor Swift, like I don't know if it was Taylor Swift, it might have been, and it wasn't illegal at the time, so it made perfect sense. It was a great strategy. Like, hey, when you buy a ticket to my concert, and when you when you pre-order the album for this slightly higher price, you get a sweatshirt and a concert ticket and a VIP pass and stuff. And it made a ton of sense. But these people were going to go to the concert anyway, so they're like, well, I might as well pre-order the album. So it was sort of, there's a little bit of controversy around that. So they took out the bundle thing, so you just have to pre-order. So that's, if you're going to be doing a pre-order bundle, it's a great idea. For example, if you're trying to really get people out to your live show, and that's your goal, is to really grow your live performance, and you have an album coming out, you can totally do a really cool bundle idea, knowing that that's your goal, right? So again, get clear on what you want for this release, whether it's a single or an album, and that clarity will dictate all of your moves, right? Like, if I've been like, oh, I really want to update my merch store, but the second I remind myself, I'm like, that is not the game I'm playing right now. I let myself schedule that for like next October. Like, I don't have to stress about that, you know? So give yourself the gift of like not having to do all the things. Just do all the things that are going to move you closer to that goal. Cool? Okay, so I see a few more questions. I will answer those. And I just realized that all the things I'm saying, this is me being Coach Cheryl. Y'all know I'm like actually a trained life coach, so I bring some of this stuff in. If you like this energy and this go, 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 do, do, do energy, I have reopened Amplify, and there's the link in there. It's a beautiful community. There's a lovely little welcome series that gets you really clear on where you are in this musician success cycle. You can just come on in, hop in, and we'll get you going. So I invite you all to join. If you're here, I feel like you're a fit. So let me go see if I missed some questions here. Does Amazon have an artist page section? Amazon have an artist page section. I don't know what you mean. There's a digital music, there's music section. If you log into your artist.amazon.com account, you'll see your artist page there. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like in Spotify, you can go to my page and I have a header and a profile. Yes, you can click on an artist and then you like see their stuff. And I think that's inside of Amazon Music. I think that's what you're asking. So like you do want to go edit your profile and your little bio and all the stuff that they allow you to present. I hope that was what you're asking. I think that was it. Yeah, cool. Scott, Amplify is a must in my opinion. I'll send you that $100 later. Thank you. Just kidding, y'all. I'm not paying Scott to say nice things. Artist.amazonmusic.com. Yes, all that stuff. Great. All right. You all are beautiful. I know I just threw a lot of stuff. I will post this on YouTube. So on my YouTube channel, and if you want to come back and watch it at like half speed, because I know I talk fast, but I wanted to share my process and just sort of what I'm up to and see if there's did anyone like get something out of this, or were you like, oh my God, give me my hour back? Got something out of it. Yay. Okay. Thank you. Phew. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being on my mailing list, because I know that's how you found me. I'm going to be gathering resources and trying to send more cool stuff. And again, thank you for anyone that is pre-ordering and supporting me as an artist too. It's like all that keeps me going, to kind of use myself as a guinea pig and try out new stuff and share it with you. So I appreciate the support on both sides. So have a beautiful rest of your day and your week. Oh my God, it's only Tuesday. Yay! I will see amplifiers. I'll see you in Amplify, and everyone else, I'll see you around. Okay, bye.